public trust, protect the innocent, uphold the law. Robocop.
And welcome back to Space Plex Game Room. I'm your host, Juan, Cena, and with me this evening is Matt Riley. How you doing tonight, Matt?
I'm super duper.
All right, fantastic. I dig that. On this episode, we're going to take a look at Robocop, the video game. Now, Robocop, the video game, was released in 1988, developed by Data East, published by Data East, and this is a arcade beat-em-up run-and gun. Right off the bat, I played this game last night. I recorded it last night. And I died like a trillion fucking times. Like, this game was fucking hard as shit. Now, I've seen other videos on YouTube where guys are beating this game on 1/4. They're not taking a whole lot of damage. They're playing awesome. So I'm like, I can do roughly the same thing. Nope. I died all the fucking time. It was ridiculous even. So either I'm really shitty at this game, or this game is actually very, very difficult. Again, it's 1 life per quarter, and then you get to this continue screen after you die from the 1 life. So it kind of breaks up the gameplay. Historically, beat 'em ups usually have 3 lives, or you can regain your energy with pump more quarters in. This game does not give no shits, does not hold anything back. Again, to me personally, this game is a extremely difficult game. In terms of the controls, they're a little stiff, but again, you're playing as Robocop, and he's not the most agile, character on the face of the earth, so some of that can be expected, right? So there's portions of the game where, you punch, and then, I guess, it almost seems like at random, but I'm assuming it's not at random. You get to pull out your gun, and you start shooting stuff. Very little in terms of power-ups throughout the game. They're very stingy with that. You get some power-ups in terms of your weapon. You'll get like a 3-shot gun that kind of spreads the entire screen, and you get a double shot also, and then you get to use that fucking big rifle they had in the first Robocop, and that fucking just destroys anything. So those pop up from time to time throughout the game. But again, looking at this game overall, the music is pretty solid. The graphics are not bad for 1988. It's just kind of the difficulty of this game. If this game was, slightly easier, or if I was a little bit better at it, it probably would have been more fun. But this dying on a consistent basis all the time, it kind of hurts the overall, enjoyment of the game. This game is very frustrating to me. I was playing the world version. Now there's different, obviously, when you play these games, there's a US release, there's a Japanese release, and then there's a worldwide release, right? So I don't know, because sometimes from Japan and the United States, they will decrease the difficulty on the United States game. Historically, I don't know if that's the deal here. I don't think so. I just think this game is extremely hard. So Matt, what are your thoughts on this game?
I remember playing it, having rewatched the arcade action and play. I find one major problem with this game is that Robocop would gun down these hoodlums. He'd walk nearby, shoot, and the bullets would just kind of pass by. And yet they would take out the thugs. And, I remember as a kid playing that game being like, come on, man, you gotta get close enough to shoot them. Because you would think you'd have to be closer to shoot them, and yet you don't apparently. So I think that was a huge lie.
Like, I don't know how these guys made it through, because there's portions of the game where there's so many fucking projectiles coming at you that, to me, it's almost impossible to get out of the way. You can't. It's hard to dodge. I can't hide. I can't do anything. And even if you have your gun out, you can't destroy any barrels using the gun. You have to punch it. There's walls set up every once in a while throughout the game. You have to punch those as well. So it's like, you would assume that your gun would be more powerful than the punch, but in this case, it is Robocop, so maybe that's not the case at all. In addition, one of the things that I found that was slightly frustrating, in most games that I know of, right, in between stages, so when you beat a level, in between the stages, they usually refill your life, or in this case, your power. This game does not. Do not give a shit. It's like, it gets you up a little bit, you're getting a little bit of health, but it doesn't fill you up. And you take damage, and the damage you take in this game is like, it's like 2 shots after your shit is down already, and it's like, you're just about to die. So again, this game, to me personally, again, there's some wizards out there that are really good at this game. I am not one of those guys. Looking at the review scores, I see 95, 92, 94. Some pretty high scores for this game. Again, it's 1988 at the time. Yeah, I wouldn't rate it that high. It kind of has some flaws. To me, it's 5 out of 10. Mediocre at best. You will see better beat 'em ups, obviously, throughout time. I think Double Dragon's a better beat 'em up in this game. So, it was released on home console. So it got a Commodore 64 release, the Amstrad release, and the ZX Spectrum release. And then it was supposed to be on Atari Jaguar, but they never released it because it's the fucking Atari Jaguar. So, fucking ridiculous. But again, mediocre at best is what I call this. Now, with that being said, we are going to take some time out and talk about Robocop, the franchise overall. I love Robocop. The first Robocop movie when I was a kid was like my favorite movie. I saw it in the movie theater. I was like 5 years old. And I know, it's like ridiculous, right? Like my dad didn't give a shit, right? My dad was like, it's Robocop. It's a fucking robot cop. How, violent. My dad didn't even care if it was violent or not. So he took me and we watched it. And I come out of the movie theater and I'm like, mentally scarred for the rest of my life because the amount of violence that in this movie, it's way over the top. It's ridiculous. Originally, it got an X rating, and not because of sexual content, because of the graphic violence. The X-rated version of this film has been released. I think it's on, either Netflix right now or Amazon Prime. It's on right now, so you can get the uncut version of Robocop. And to me, is like, how much more violent could you make this movie? Like, Jesus Christ! Looking up information about the film, a couple things come to mind here, and we're going to talk a little bit about politics. We don't talk about politics on this show very often, but because of the nature of this film and this franchise, we have to talk about it, so we're going to briefly touch on it. There's going to be as of January 2018, it's been stated that they're going to make a direct sequel to the original Robocop. Not a sequel to the 2014 film, the remake or the reboot, and not to any of the sequels. They're kind of just going to ignore the sequels, they're going to ignore the reboot, and they're going to do a sequel to the 1987 Robocop. And I know a lot of people today are concerned, perhaps even frustrated with politics entering their entertainment. But this is fucking Robocop. So when this movie gets released, you cannot complain about politics in this movie, because if you go back and watch the original Robocop, the entire movie is literally dripping with politics. It's literally a political satire and a cultural satire of everything that was going on during the 80s. The original Robocop has been called recently as liberal propaganda. It's been called fascism for liberals, because it talked about these subjects, and it was really kind of, we talk about greed, multi-corporatisms, and it really touches a lot on these subjects. Again, it's like the world's gone crazy, right? And you have this corporation who's literally trying to take over a police department, and eventually it does take over the entire government. So you have a corporation who, again, is their responsibility to their shareholders and their stockholders, and they want to make money, take over a city. So when we look at things today, we talk about like private armies, private mercenary groups, the fact that a corporation is not considered a legal person. It's really kind of making reference to a lot of this stuff. So Robocop is dripping with politics. So when this new movie comes out, maybe the end of next year, you literally cannot complain about it, because it's a lot in the first one, and they touch on it in the second and third one a little bit. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But you cannot complain about it, because literally Robocop in general is a very politicized movie, right? You can call it political propaganda. Yeah. You can make that statement. You wouldn't be too far off. It's that wrapped in ultra violence, and it is ultra violent. And I'm surprised it's made by the same people who did Starship Troopers. It's another film that's literally dripping in politics as well. So again,
very much.
You got to keep those things in mind when everyone loves the '80s, right? Everyone's nostalgic for the '80s, and back in a different time where there wasn't politics in our movies, but this movie in its very, very core, the way it's written, is very much that way. So I want everyone to really keep that in mind. So Matt, when you saw Robocop back in the day, what are your thoughts on Robocop right off the bat?
I remember a few scenes vividly. I'll start with the gross ones first. The guy in the acid tank.
Then he comes out and he's all fucked up. And he gets ran over by the car. Yeah, that shit was fucking gross.
His friend's like, get away from me, man! And that actor, by the way, also had a fantastic death on ER. So if you like that character actor, he dies a fantastic death on ER. Dr. Romano. If you go to YouTube, Dr. Romano, ER death. It's a good clip. Also remember the, I guess, X-rated version or whatever, where they kill him in the beginning and how brutal it was when they blow up to pieces.
Yeah.
I also actually like visually and pulls on the heartstrings is when he's in the house and he starts remembering.
Yeah.
And the music they play behind it as he's remembering and kind of like getting control of himself. Really powerful scene. And that was a really sold me on it. Like, wow, this is great. And overall is that thing at the end where prime directive.
Yeah.
You're fired. Thank you.
And what's cool is like they really did a good job of interjecting. Like they had like the news, kind of like they kind of had media and when you watch some of that shit, like they had like the sitcom. And the guy always says, "Oh, I'll buy that for $1."
Can I have you both?
Sure! We've had our shots.
I'd buy that for $1.
Which is hilarious.
Yep.
You kind of
Also
see
the
like
commercial, the SUX.
yeah, and then the fucking dinosaur and shit.
Yes.
So they really had like their version of what pop culture in this in this movie looked like. So you have a complete understanding of how fucked up this world is. You know what I mean? So I think when you had Bob Morton's death scene where he's with all the prostitutes and he has the cocaine and Clarence Boddicker comes in, who's Kurtwood Smith from that '70s show, comes in and fucking kills him.
Yes.
Yeah, that was fucking cool. He did that with the bomb. That was fucking sweet as hell.
Oh yeah.
And then you had Ronnie Cox is a great character actor. He played Dick Jones. He was also the captain in Beverly Hills Cop. But he played an awesome villain. Like he was a really cool villain.
Also from Total Recall.
Yeah. So again, you got a lot of good character actors in here. You had Peter Weller, who's fantastic in his role. Just all around, just a fucking good fucking film.
I was like, what's not fantastic? I tried to watch Robocop, and it said 1987. I was all excited about it. Clicked on it, and it was the 2014 remake.
Boo!
I watched it anyways to kind of, perspective. I actually liked that actor a lot. I liked him on that show, The Killing. But it was rushed. I mean, the last 20, 30 minutes are just, they're trying to squeeze 3 movies worth of, action into one. Just, whatever. It was what it was, but I was bummed. I wanted to watch the original one again, and every time you go to watch it, it still takes me to the new one. So thanks a lot, Xfinity, Comcast.
Boo!
Boo! Piss.
Boo, you, sir. Then after that, in 1990, you got the Robocop sequel, Robocop 2. Again, every time they did a Robocop sequel, it kind of diminished it a little bit. Still rated R, which was good.
Yeah.
But they changed the director, so it was Ivan Kershner was directing this one, and this was written by Frank Miller, which is interesting. Those of you who are big fans of Dark Knight Returns or his run on Daredevil. At this point in the film, OCP is taking over the Detroit government. They're going to make the entire city Delta City. They terminate the pension plan for the police department. They go on strike. Basically, it's just RoboCop taking on the entire city because the cops are on strike. Basically, yeah. And they try to replace RoboCop, but I believe the guy was super high on drugs and shit, so he's a drug addict. And it's ridiculous. They had a kid villain in this one, which I think he kills, if I remember correctly. He shoots a fucking kid.
We're all there.
So again, we see RoboCop in this movie get fucking beat to shit again, and all that kind of good stuff. But he comes out on top. But yeah, it's This one really has a say no to drugs, say no to drugs. It actually was the villain who killed the fucking kid, the kid villain. But yeah, it's fucking really kind of say no to drugs, fucking kind of deal here, and it wasn't that great. You know what I mean? It was like okay, did this second one, that's all right, but. Went to go see it, big Robocop fan, and I was a big fan because they used World Championship Wrestling to promote this movie. We had Robocop come out of Capital Combat to save Sting from the Four Horsemen. And I was all in at Robocop. I love Robocop. And I'm not sure when they started with releasing the action figures. I don't know if it was after this movie or after the first one. I doubt it was after the first one. Because kids love Robocop, no matter how ultra-violent this fucking movie was. Obviously, by the time they get to Robocop 3, they did tone it down quite a bit. I believe they had ninjas in the fucking third one. Which is weird. Again, you talk about politics again. Again, in the early 90s, there was this big thing about Japanese corporations coming to the United States and taking over American companies. It seems like it was a big deal back then. But yeah, the hostile takeovers and all that kind of stuff. So that's what this movie basically deals with. It talks about hostile takeovers and Japanese companies coming in and taking over OCP. The only thing that stands out from this movie is like they had fucking ninjas in it and shit. And then Robocop got a jetpack. He got a jetpack.
Oh, no.
And he had like a hand fucking machine gun in this one. So that seemed pretty cool. But again, PG-13 Robocop I don't think necessarily works all that well. And it was like, Peter Weller wasn't in it. And it wasn't all that great. And then after that, obviously Robocop 3 wasn't a success. But they went yet again to the Robocop. I mean, at this point, they started doing a TV series. And the TV series started in 1994. It was a Canadian-based television series. Again, this was made to appeal to young children and teenagers. It lacks the graphic violence. Although it's funny because right off the bat, they knew they fucked up Robocop 3 because Robocop, the TV show, ignored Robocop 3. It was like, nope. That movie was so shitty that even a year later, that we're not going to even talk about it. It doesn't even exist. That show ran for 21 episodes. Still kind of hard to find. It played in syndication. I remember watching it because, again, no matter how bad these Robocop movies got, I was still all in on Robocop. So, does Robocop work as a TV series, you think?
No.
No.
I mean, it's one of those things you can see someone today on like Netflix or Amazon doing it as like a avant-garde series, kind of like a comedy.
Right.
This time Robocop's a woman. Or Robocop's a child. Or, whatever. But I think you'd have to spin it in a way like, I would say if you were going to spin it today, it would be Robocop they make a mistake and they use the brain/body of a victim of social injustice. So he plays along because he realizes what's going on. And he can kind of go after the bad cops who are killing people innocently.
Well, yeah, that'd be like more of a Punisher type character because if you remember, the Punisher was killing corrupt cops and judges and politicians, along with drug dealers and terrorists too. So I can definitely see something like that. But again, I think they're going for in terms of anything that's in the new Robocop, I think they're going for nostalgia. Nostalgia is big right now. People will say nostalgia is big. Nostalgia's always been big. You remember in the 80s, everything was about the 50s. Remember, like it was like a 30-year fucking gap because the people who grew up during that era are now have disposable income and they're charged with stuff, so they always want to bring back stuff from their childhood. Again, it's kind of part of the deal here. That's why we saw like the new Leave It to Beaver and shit like that.
Yeah.
These reboots in the 80s as well as a lot of the original program they did. So nostalgia is always a big money driver, big money producer. After that, and I would be remiss to mention the Robocop cartoon that came out in 1988. Robocop cartoon.
Oh no! Yeah, that's unexpected.
Yeah, I think it only lasted one season, 12 episodes. I haven't watched it in a while, so I don't remember a whole lot about this. It was made by Marvel Productions, who made some of my favorite cartoons through the 80s. So would it be G.I. Joe, Transformers, what have you? They also made a Robocop cartoon. They had to make changes for the cartoons. Obviously, it's not going to be as violent, right?
Right.
That's right. We all know this, right? you know, it's gonna be really, really kind of kiddied up, kid friendly, because you would have to be. You know, this is when they started making the action figures. I remember the action figures because they had like, remember the cap guns back in the day? Remember that was a big deal?
Sure, yeah.
Cap guns, right? And I remember the Robocop action figures. You put the fucking the thing in the back and cap. You know, so it was like a cap gun Robocop action figure. So you know, those were fun. But again, as a kid, I thought he was a lot of fun. It was the 80s, so you can get away with the ultra violence, especially when they're trying to market the kids. So, you know, they did this ultra violent movie. It's like, nope, and then we're gonna make a cartoon about it. But we've seen that before because they also did the cartoon for Rambo.
You know what actually reminds me of that in a way is the Itchy and Scratchy clips. How over the top violent they were, and how it was, that was spoofed. It was, obviously that violent. I remember. Did you ever see the movie Planet Terror? And there was that scene where they're driving the truck, and they're hitting the zombies left and right, and then they're like, "Oh, he dropped the dog," and it's just like stupid, bloody, like just ridiculous. Like that's when they're doing gore to like lampoon, and I think that's I don't mind if it's that way, but oh my god, that is just some of the violence, just so funny.
Yeah. You know, speaking of that's my train of thought. Fuck.
That too.
Fucking A. So again, we got this RoboCop, cartoon, and then we get the 2014 remake. Once I saw RoboCop's design, I was like, no, we're not doing this. Fuck that. And it felt like that period, like I want to say RoboCop and like the Total Recall reboot like happened around the same time, and I was like, what the fuck? Like those movies are pretty close to perfect as you can get. Like why would you try a sequel? I could understand. A reboot, on the other hand, I would stay away from it. And they never do these things right. Like they always fuck this up. Like tell me of anything that they rebooted from the 80s. Was anything good that they did? 18? No. Right? No.
I would say the only thing I noticed that felt like it was done well was the Karate Kid.
I agree.
Thing that was well done, but they went a different direction. They didn't go I'm not talking about the movies. I'm talking about the Netflix.
They did a sequel. They didn't do a reboot. It wasn't like the the A-Team stuff they'd done, Ghostbusters. You say what you will, I didn't like that movie. I wasn't funny. I don't know. Maybe I'm fucked up. Even when they try to bring back Knight Rider.
Yes.
And they fucked up with Knight Rider because you can't be Knight Rider without the fucking car. You need the fucking Trans Am. Yes. If you don't have it, if you put Kit in a Lamborghini, it doesn't have the same effect. And they never understood that with Knight Rider, so they keep on fucking it up over and over again. They're the same thing. Magnum P.I. is on TV right now. Lethal Weapon's on TV right now. I haven't watched Lethal Weapon. I heard from all accounts the first season was pretty good, but then one of the leads left the show or whatever. So that's an issue. The Revenge of the Nerds TV show was shitty.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah. They had these fucking that was fucking awful. They kept on doing sequels. It was like American Pie, all the fucking sequels. It's fucking gross. Yeah. But I'm curious to see what they go with the sequel moving forward. I'd like to see RoboCop for all new generation, but for this to work out right, it has to be a sequel. It has to have Peter Weller in it. It has to be over the top violent. It has to have social commentary on it. It has to have all these things, or it's not going to hold up well. Right. I don't know if do you make a RoboCop movie that takes place in 2018, or do you have it take place in 1989? I think it should take place in 1989, because then you could universe build, so nothing's familiar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they're going down that route, who knows? But when it comes to the RoboCop game, extremely difficult. I did not like it. Too hard for me. The controls are a little stiff, but whatever. That is what it is. Graphics are perfectly acceptable for 1988. Music's pretty good. I did enjoy the music on this game, but overall, it's like a 5 out of 10. I give this a pass. I was really hoping it was good, but I did not like it. There's a RoboCop 2 video game that we'll do at some point, but that won't be for a while. So, all right, guys. So we are officially out of time. So for Matt Riley, I am Juan Cena.
Serve the public trust, protect the innocent, uphold the law.